Hey Alpha Fam, Coach Sham here with another market update. Before we begin, I do want to say that nothing in these videos is financial advice. Everything's for educational purposes only. It's just my own analysis on the market. Also, if you're new to the Alpha Syndicate channel, if you can please give us a like, comment, and a subscribe. We really do appreciate the support. Let's get into the market, guys. So, we had this immense amount of weakness last night when the traditional markets, when the futures opened up, slightly after futures opened up. Really, when the Asian market opened up last night, guys, you can see as soon as they opened up, we had this immense drop down. Bitcoin dropped, I think it was like almost 4%. It was pretty crazy, guys. Actually, about 5%. And then now it is starting to bounce. There was no announcement. So like I put a post on X last night. I said, I bet we get some type of announcement that there was some type of attack on Iran. And then this was going to be the narrative utilized for this drop because price makes narrative. Remember this, guys. Every time price drops, everybody's going to scramble to try to find a narrative to attach to it. But we didn't get that. There was no announcements. It was very strange how it happened, but all of a sudden we get this immense amount of weakness. And then you can see about 9 o'clock last night, we start to bounce. And now we are starting to recover. It's very strange, guys. And then what you have to do is I like to look at TradFi markets, and they did the same thing. You can see they opened up with this weakness, and now have started to push back up. Same thing with NASDAQ. Opened up with weakness and starting to push back up. It's very strange, guys, because typically there is usually something that correlates for one of these drops. But there was absolutely no announcements. We don't even have any data being released today. Data comes out tomorrow. So we got the President's State of the Union address, and then we got PPI month over month. That comes out on the 27th. And we said this, I've been talking about this for a couple weeks, guys. I said, I think we're stuck in a range. I think this is the range that we are going to be stuck in. And then, looking at this, guys, this just doesn't look good where you're still putting in, lower lows. And now you've actually, you are putting in higher lows technically from this one right here. But then if you look on some of the smaller time frames, guys, you can just see that, this is not looking like something that's showing strength. We're making lower lows, and higher lows. You know what I mean? So this is something that you see in a confirmed downtrend. But we are still kind of just chopping sideways. And again, I think we're in this range, guys. I think we're going to be in this range for a little while until we break out of it. And I think that there's a chance that during this range, they are going to try to sweep the lower side of this range. At some point, I think they will probably even try to break it. And we've been talking about this for a while now, guys. I just think logically, if you look at this thing for a couple of different ways, the next logical zone for us to go into, guys, will be probably somewhere right around the bottom of this zone right here. All right. I just have a feeling this is where they're going to want to come back into, guys. All right. Again, this whole move down has been something that has taken a lot of people off guard. And then again, we like to throw our fib down. This is the reason why I'm looking at this level is, again, guys, and I mentioned it yesterday in the last video that I made, that I'm looking at this 2618 right here. This level just is screaming out a lot of confluence. You can see it's literally at the bottom of this zone right here. And I know a lot of people don't want to see a $50,000 Bitcoin. Hell, I don't want to see a $50,000 Bitcoin. But I have to go with logic, and I have to go with what some of these things are showing me. And it's this level right here is screaming out. And then if you look at from the top to this level where it comes down to, this is about a 61% correction, guys. And if you go to every single cycle, the corrections have been diminishing. Just like the returns have been diminishing, so has the correction. So you can see last one we did about a 78% correction, but then in 2017 you can see we did an even bigger correction. This one came down to about 84%. All right, so you can see it's give or take about 10% less of when we go into the bear market, we're averaging about 10% less of a corrective phase every single time. So if this holds true, guys, that would also make sense. We did an 80-something% correction the first time in 2000. Well, not the first time in 2017. Then we did a 70-something% correction in 21. Well, if we do a 61-something% correction this time, that would make a lot of logical sense for me. And this is all about logic, guys. You have to think about things from a logical perspective and just look at things where the market is telling us the next levels will be. And again, guys, and I've said this several times, if they do decide to bring us down to this level, this also makes sense too, because if you look at this zone, all right, and if we draw a box on this zone right here, guys, all right, and if they do this spring outside of this zone, all right? And you say we're chopping in this zone right here, we're chopping in this zone, and then at some point, you know, in the next couple of months before Jerome Powell gets replaced, they're able to wick down. All right, I think this wick would be an actual spring, and it would soak up that liquidity, jump back up into this trading range, bounce, and then boom, we should start moving out of the accumulation range into the next confirmed uptrend. All right, guys, and basically breaking out of this bear market low right here, guys. All right, I know that a lot of people, again, this market has been very, it's been very, I guess the best way to put it has been very unpredictable. And I think the reason why, and I've been saying it over and over again, is because there's so many people that have held to the 4-year cycle standard that they're just completely exiting their bags, guys. This is why we can't really catch a real recovery, because every time we start to try to make a recovery, we get some type of news, something happens, and it tears us down again. So this is the reason why these ranges are actually created, because every time we start to make a recovery, something happens, it brings us back down to the bottom of the trading range. Everybody says it's so over, we're going back to zero. Then we start the next recovery, we start going up, another macro FUD event comes out. That narrative brings us back down. We go back down to the bottom of the trading range, it's so over again. And then this process repeats over a course of a few months. And when this actually occurs, this is what actually causes the time capitulation. People get tired of watching their bags go up and then go back down, then go up and then go back down. So what I suggest to people do is, since we know that this is going to occur, guys, all right, and now that we know that we're starting to create these ranges, like let's go to Solana, for instance. You see Solana's creating this range. Now what you can do is, you know that we have this range, you can start putting limit orders at the bottom of it, all right, guys? And then you can even put limit orders well underneath of it in some zones that you probably logically will never get hit. Like this is Solana on the weekly chart, guys. And not to say it's in kind of no man's land, but it's kind of in no man's land. You can see there's not really, other than right here at this level, once we got into this zone right here, we've kind of lost all forms of like real support if we lose this zone. All right, because you can see this was the last bounce that resulted in the move up. So if we lose this zone, guys, the next logical zone would probably be this one down here. So what I would be doing is I would be putting limit orders for $40, $45 Solana. If we get a wick down, great, I get my order filled. And if it doesn't, hey, it's okay. I'm all right with that. That means I just sit on the capital. All right, it only gets deployed if my levels get hit. All right, guys, this is the reason why limit orders are so effective. And especially because, let's be honest, guys, most retail traders or most retail investors simply are not like me, who are sitting at their computers glued to charts all day long. So most people are not going to be at the charts to be able to catch these local bottoms or any of these moves that happen. So if this is something that, this is the type of person you are, where you want to be an active investor, but you're building a business, or you got the 9-to-5 thing going on, or you're doing side hustles or whatever, and you can't effectively sit there and watch this all the time, your best option is going to be putting in limit orders. All right, guys, really slow DCA limit orders, and every time we come to the bottom of its box, you get those orders filled, and then you put in limit orders at places that it might not come down there, but if it does, well, then you'll get your order filled. And the reason why this is so important is things will go back up, guys. All right, we won't be in a bear market forever. Things will go back up, and if you take advantage of being active during this time, you will be the person that will take advantage of the next uptrend. I promise you. I know this market's been extremely disappointing the last year, but this is the time to buckle down and to really focus. Do whatever you can to try to earn some type of income, whether you're, do you have a business running, or if you're working the 9-to-5, whatever you're doing, make it your job and your goal over the next 3 to 6 months to be able to build up some capital, set these limit orders, accumulate, because when things take back off, you will be the person that will take advantage of the next bull run. People don't make the money during the bull runs, guys. They make money buying during the bear market and holding for that expansion phase to happen. All right. And if this is, if this is the first time you've ever found some of my content, and I say this in every one of my videos, my name's Coach JM. I've been a digital asset investor for over 5 years now. I'm the founder of Alpha Syndicate, and I also host all of the Crypto Talk workshops inside of Capital Club. And if you want to learn this stuff, guys, if you want to understand the macro, the fundamentals, the technical analysis, if you want the projects that we're investing in, the narratives, if you want a place that you can actually get coached, mentored, and have a place that you can network with other entrepreneurs and traders, click the link below, guys. We'll see you inside.